It's time to get back to basics with a brand new 10 things to declutter from your home. And we're focusing on absolute no-brainers this podcast episode. Things that just hang around your home with absolutely no purpose. How many on the list do you think you have?
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no-nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Leslie Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Leslie.
If you're new to the Declutter Hub podcast, you're so welcome. What you'll find is that we try and find a fun factor in the serious business of decluttering. And if you've been here for a while, you know exactly what we mean. So thank you so much for listening.
If you'd like to get involved in conversations relating to this podcast, it all takes place in our Facebook group. So come and join our lovely, warm, supportive community. To find the Facebook group, go to declutterhub.com/group to find out more, or you can search for the Declutter Hub community on Facebook.
Well, Leslie, here we are yet again with a 10 Things podcast, and we love recording a 10 Things podcast because you never know what's going to happen and come out of our mouths, right?
By the way, you have approved the list today. So basically, when we do a 10 Things podcast, we come up with a list, and then Ingrid imagines that she doesn't even know what's on the list when we're going through them. So, but I don't think today I'm going to go out on a limb and say you won't have any of these things.
I think I might have one or two, but I think overall I'm going to be I'm going to do really well today, Leslie.
Okay, we're going to go up against each other. I don't know. Yeah. I came up with a list and then I need to think about it when we actually come up with them.
Yeah.
But yes, 10 Things podcast. And these are absolute no-brainers. Now, there are some things in life that are difficult to declutter and there are some things that are easy to declutter. And so we're going to give you easy wins. But some of these things are quite voluminous. There's a few of them hanging around. So go for it.
Yes, I'm going to start with number one. I'm feeling smug already, Leslie, because I have nothing of this in my house.
Yeah, but by the way, before you feel so smug, your children are 15 and 17, okay? So it's not really a surprise that you don't have these things in your house. So we're going for people with young children or grandchildren that will undoubtedly have some of these things in their house.
But the thing is, I don't think I've ever had any of these in my house. But anyway, so number one, let's come clean what it is. It's Happy Meal toys. Now, Happy Meal toys are normally from McDonald's, but it can be whatever toy from any fast food chain, right? That do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Ingrid doesn't know because she's probably never been in a fast food chain in her entire life. And so this is where we have problems. So she's feeling all smug. I think it's bordering on child cruelty to not have taken your children to McDonald's at any time in their actual life.
Can count about 2 or 3 times, I think, in the last 5 years.
Honestly, are you in touch with modern culture, Ingrid? Who gets through life without going to McDonald's?
I know. I mean, I do like a Big Mac. Every once a year, I fancy a Big Mac.
She changes it up. So we get like once or twice in a life. Now we've gone to
in the last 5 years. I said in the last 5 years. Okay. But yeah, about once a year or something, we have McDonald's, and that's about it. That's enough.
Yes, it is enough. You are right. I'm only joking because it's absolutely not child cruelty. But what is bad and what is cruel for many, many things, including the environment, are Happy Meal toys. Now, if ever there was something that was a momentary kind of adrenaline hit for a child, it's going to be probably a Happy Meal toy. Now, there are some that are great. There are collectibles within there. Yep. There are some that are really cool, but in 52, I think they change it every week, right? Or every couple of weeks or something.
I think so, yeah.
So it's a while, to be fair, since I've had a Happy Meal toy. There's a load of tat, isn't there, as well? But most of the time, Ingrid, they're a complete load of tat, aren't they, right? And kids get very, very attached to Happy Meal toys, don't they?
Yeah.
And so we find ourselves, I mean, when we are doing toy declutters in clients' homes, we literally sometimes we have to find a category for Happy Meal toys, like a section, right? And so, yeah, so I don't know.
I know.
Is it for us to say you should get rid of Happy Meal toys? I don't know. For me, they are definitely on the list of things that were not intentional. You know, kids not going there wanting them, but then there are some people where that might be the only toy that kid gets, right? And so, but for me, they're up for debate. A Happy Meal toy is up for debate.
Yeah.
Ironically, last week there was this random thing hanging around my house in the living room, and I was like, "What is that?" Like some little toy thing. And Leah said, "Oh, one of my friends," and it's a Happy Meal toy. One of my friends, you know. So, like students and kids, if they've got no money, even though they're all 25, so they should be able to afford an adult-sized meal at McDonald's, I would hope. It was like a Happy Meal toy, and it was in my house, and so it just went in the bin.
That's why it ended up on the list, probably, because you thought this is good reason. Now, I think only once I thought this is actually very good. They had Smurfs as Happy Meal toys.
You've only been in once, so how can you make a value judgment on whether they've got good stuff?
I know, but a friend of ours collects Smurfs, and he told us, he's like, you need to go into McDonald's with your kids and take a Happy Meal because they're doing Smurfs. And I thought, that's actually one that I can stand behind. But all the other stuff, I don't know. I think we need to move on. We're getting in dangerous territory here, I think.
But it is relevant. It is a very relevant thing. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think the problem that we've got is it's too mean to tell your kids not to take the toy, because I believe that is an option. You can say we don't want the toy, but then you would feel like a really super mean parent, right?
Yeah.
Hard.
I did that when the kids were older. They just couldn't eat a full-size meal yet, but they were old enough not to want the plastic thing. So, but we had to have it so we ordered a Happy Meal for one of the kids, or both of the kids, and we had to have the Happy Meal toy. Now, but we don't want the toy. My kids are like 13 and 12 or something. We don't want it. They're like, you have to have it. So we actually gave it away to somebody else. And then I felt bad because
so you gave it to somebody else so that they got two toys. So they had to declutter both. Yeah, because that's clever, isn't it?
But I mean,
anyway,
it's better than throwing it in the bin. I mean, oh my, wow. Anyway, I think we need to move on to number 2. Otherwise, as always, we're going to be here forever, Leslie. Number 2, earrings that don't have a back to them or that are not in a pair.
Yes. We lose earrings a lot, don't we? You know, when we go out, you take them off, they fall out sometimes. You just generally lose them. They're very little, so they can get lost quite easily.
Yeah.
And what happens is we find our little lone earring, or the back has gone missing, because backs fall off as well if they're not snug. You know, all earrings are not the same, right? There are some good quality earrings, there are some that have got great backs. And there are also parts of earrings that fall off as well, because now earrings are getting quite intricate, and so there's bits of earring that fall off, and so we keep hold of them because we imagine that the other part of the earring is going to turn up. So how long should we keep hold of them, Ingrid?
I think that possibly might also be determined by the value of the earring.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like a cheap pair of earrings that was like £6 from your local accessorize, it's like, then it's easy to go, oh, I've lost the other one, don't know where it is, haven't seen it in ages, it can go. But if it's like a diamond earring,
oh yeah, you're not going to get rid of a diamond, are you? Do you know what I'm talking about? Diamonds. We are talking about costume jewelry.
But like more expensive earrings, then you kind of want to give it a bit more time, I think, to keep everything crossed. It's going to show up, hopefully, at some point. It never does, but you have the hope.
It does, of course it does. You say it never does. It does. It absolutely does. Like we find them all the time with clients. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing. The only way you're actually going to find, I mean, an earring back you can replace, right? Yeah. But opposite, a pair, part of a pair or whatever it is, the second one of a pair, you know what I'm saying? You can find those in a standard declutter, and they do turn up. Mm-hmm. Not taking up loads and loads of space, but I do think we need to evaluate it. So this would be done as part of a jewelry declutter, where you go in and you go, right, okay, now's the time. And I'm either intentionally going to go around my house and try and find it in obvious places, or hold it to one side, put it on a list of something. This is something that I really need to find. There's different things that you can do, but at some point you need to go, that's a bit of a lost cause and it needs to go.
Yeah. I think what we can definitely agree upon, Leslie, is that a jewelry declutter like this needs to be done later in the process.
Yes.
When you've got a whole house full of clutter, you can't go, let me start organizing my jewelry. That makes no sense, because indeed, if you start missing, it's probably somewhere around your house that you've put it down somewhere. You can't remember that you put it down. So you have to kind of put it all together first. And then when the clutter has kind of gone down everywhere, then you can at one point go in an afternoon, right, now I'm going to get all the jewelry and all the bits and bobs that I've just gathered together, and now I'm going to sort it out. And now I can actually say, 95% or 80% or whatever it is for my house has been done. If I do find it now, then it's just, I don't know, it can't be helped. But then you can kind of almost certainly say, I've decluttered the bulk of my house. It's not going to be found anywhere.
Some people would feel that it gave them great joy to do a jewelry declutter, though. That's the problem that we've got. But so what we're saying is evaluate whether or not that jewelry declutter is a sensible thing for you to do at this stage in your decluttering, if you've got your whole house to do, because it takes a long time to do a jewelry declutter, doesn't it, Ingrid?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to move on to number 3, Leslie. Burned out candles.
If there's something that you absolutely 100% have not got in your house, it's burnt out candles. You've not even got nice candles in your house because you've got some weird thing that you don't like them. You don't like the smell of nice candles. I think I honestly think you need maybe better candles. Where have you got your nice scented candles from?
I mean, we had a nice one, my husband doesn't like the smell of scented candles. I do like little wax, the little ones that you can just,
tea lights.
We just don't like scented candles.
Right. Okay.
The scented candles is the problem at my house. But when they're burned out, they're being thrown away.
Yes, absolutely. We are talking about burnt out candles. And so we leave them. The thing is about burnt out candles, we kind of like them because some people think that the scent still is there. They get full of dust, don't they? Like candles. It's not something that people typically get around to dusting, but they do gather dust. And then they look really grim, I think.
Yeah.
Like dusty candles are just so not what they ought to be, which is something to enhance your home.
Yeah.
They're just a bit rubbish. And the cheaper the candle, you get a little residue on the side of it. But we can't all spend 60 quid on a candle, can we? You know what I mean? That's going to go in like a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but cheap candles, gather dust, gather residue about the outside and just look a little bit messy.
Yeah.
But if your candle has gone, as soon as my candle is burnt down, it's gone.
Yeah. I know. I think some people then think they're going to try and chip the old candle wax that's left over out so they can clean the pot. And I'm like, there's other fish to fry, there's other things to do. If you're super duper organized, then that might be something you can do to reuse as another craft project, blah blah blah. But if you're overwhelmed with clutter, if the candle's gone, it goes.
I think the problem is, because what we talk about a lot of times when we talk about these things is the barriers that stand in our way, and candles does have a barrier involved, which is that very thing of potentially recycling the glass element of that candle. And obviously it can't be recycled if it's got wax on it, because that's going to contaminate it and all that kind of stuff. And the bottom line is, a lot of, certainly where we live, a lot of the glass with candles can't be recycled anyway, but we're not quite sure. We're a bit unsure about recycling rules, and they're different everywhere and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the barrier is, I want to recycle the candle. I need to spend time to get the wax out of it, because then you've got to, I think you can put hot water in, then you kind of pour the wax out into, when it's melted, into like some kind of sieve or a piece of paper or something like that. And then do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that gets people with a lot of clutter in their house completely stalled. Yeah. So as Ingrid says, sometimes you need to go, okay, I probably need to do this for the environment, but also I need to do this for myself. Sometimes you need to let go of some of your kind of perfectionist things that are involved in that and just go, it's good enough. I just need to let go of that burnt out candle.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Let's go on to number 4 then, Leslie. Tights with holes in them. Yes, I think you're either a tight lover or you're not really a tight wearer. I mean, I don't wear a lot of tights. I wear a lot of socks, but I don't wear a lot of tights. So I don't have that many. But I've seen many, many clients with an absolute mountain of tights. And then you start to look at them, and then one after the other has holes and is unsuitable to wear. And then you're like, what's the situation with the tights here? Oh, I'm not completely sure, but they've all gotten muddled and they didn't throw them away when they had a hole and they were taking the tights off. They didn't immediately put them in the bin to go, it has a hole, it needs to go. They kind of got back into the pile, and then things get confused, doesn't it?
Well, we're talking about barriers again here, Ingrid, because the problem is, so let's see this through. So you get a hole in your tights. You think, I need to throw those away, but you can recycle them, right? You can put them into rags and they can get recycled tights.
Yeah.
So then you think, if I'm going to recycle them, I've got to wash them. So then you put them through the wash, and then you can't immediately see a hole unless you do a tight check. And so that's how it ends up back in your wardrobe. And so you've got this constant recycling of holy tights.
Yeah.
And so how do we fix that problem then?
I think you just have to actually, when it's daylight, don't try to do it at night when it's dark, right? I mean, it's dark so early now as well. It's so long dark at the moment where we are. So you want to do this with a bit of daylight, and you're going to have to just very carefully, gently slide your hand in. Make sure you take any jewelry and rings off, because otherwise you might snag a perfectly good tight and then it has to go anyway. But you're going to have to work through them and kind of see, and kind of probably do a holes has to go, tights that are fine, and then at the tights that are fine, go, okay, actually, which ones of these am I going to wear? But that's the second phase. I think it's first holes or no holes.
No, I have real problems with my tights, because I do wear black opaque tights, and so does my daughter all the time. So every now and again, I end up trying to put on my daughter's tights, and it's not a good sign or scene. Do you know what I mean? Because she's like a little tiny, and I'm like, oh, okay, not my tights, because they're literally just coming above my knees. So yeah, you definitely need to do a tight check every now and again, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
So tights with holes, absolute no-brainer. Number 4, and now we're going to go on to number 5, Ingrid.
Yes, old toothbrushes. I mean, having one or two old toothbrushes is helpful for when you want to clean or when you need to polish something, but you do not need 18 old toothbrushes.
I know, that's the thing. That's our barrier. Again, that's the reason why we have these around, because we want to give things, because we are in that mindset. So as people who have clutter, we can constantly see a use in something, and that's why we retain things longer than we need to. So that's why we are constantly, if we throw a pair of tights away, thinking that's going to be good for a cleaning rag, for example, that's another thing that we do. Or if we throw an old toothbrush away that's seen its, that's past its best, then we think that would be good for cleaning the bottom of the tap or whatever that might be. But as Ingrid says, we keep too many of these things. And so we need to be intentional about, if we are repurposing things, which is a great thing to do, we need to be intentional about these things and not keep too many. There comes a point in life where we have to let something go because it's done its job and it's time to move on.
Yeah.
We're constantly, on toothbrushes, we're constantly recycling toothbrushes and getting new. Unfortunately, it's one of those things in life that you buy, you use for 6 months or whatever you use your toothbrush for, and then you let go of, and we have to kind of move through that process. There are things in life that just don't have a second life.
Yeah.
And this has a little bit sometimes, but, a toothbrush that you use for cleaning, you could probably use for 5 years of cleaning.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? But your throughput of old toothbrushes in a whole family is going to be much more than that. And so, old toothbrushes.
Good ones. I've enjoyed it so far. Leslie, do you want to...
How many have you got?
Yeah, exactly. Let's do a tally up. No, yes, no, no, no. 1. I probably have an earring without a back because it's been a pair, because it's been ages since I've done my jewelry. So I probably have one of those, but I'm not certain. But the rest, no.
I do not have any.
Ooh, okay.
Guess who's the winner?
I know. Hey, Ingrid's -1.
Yes.
Well, let's go for a break. And then after the break, we'll talk about the other 5 and then we'll do another check. See you soon. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to your 10 no-brainers to declutter from your home as soon as you can. And we are back with number 6. This is we've talked about this before, but we keep seeing them. So we thought, let's put it in the podcast again to remind everybody. And it is manuals.
Yeah. Now, we've put this under the kind of no-brainer category. Manuals themselves are not really in the no-brainer category, but the kind of peripheral things that come with a manual are. So we're talking about things in different languages. We're talking about this is where you find the international. I mean, what even is that? You know, when it goes, here's the international service place for Miele. Yeah, who's gonna go to Dortmund or whatever to look for unless you live in Germany, maybe. But do you know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Yeah. We get these things what is that?
I don't know. There's always some sort of sticker with an energy rating. I'm like, great, but do you want me to put it on my washing machine? What do you want me to do with it? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a load of stuff that's obviously legal requirements, maybe,
probably,
that sit around it. So yeah, we need to think about so that all that can go, in my opinion. We don't need the energy rating sticker. It's just going to look messy on your washing machine. We probably don't need the service center in Dortmund for Miele. That can go as well. We don't need the Italian, Dutch, unless you're Ingrid, Spanish, maybe if you speak those languages, that's fine. But generally, we're just going to need our own language of things, so we can chop some of that down as well, because there's these huge booklets, right, with all the different languages. And then we need to really look at the manual itself and go, what would we do? So if that washing machine, as an example, broke down, what would we do? Would we ring, not the guy in Dortmund, the guy in Manchester, in my opinion, to come and fix it? Or would we go onto YouTube to find out how to fix it from those clever people who put all those how to do things on YouTube? What would we do? Or would we, in fact, our go-to thing be to find that manual online, which they all are now, that, and never even look or remember that we've got the paper copy. So it's all about analyzing your own behavior when something needs to be fixed. And different people are different. I'm the kind of ring the guy in Manchester, because we always get people to fix things because we've got not a DIY bone in our body. You're probably more down the DIY. Jon's going to look at it and see if he can fix it.
Yeah, and then call the guy if you really can't do it.
Exactly. Go through the motions of trying. And so you really need to analyze. And because we're going more online, are we using the online versions of things to, either the YouTube side of things where they're telling you how to do it, or the online manual? Analyze your own behavior to see whether or not you need to keep that paper copy of a manual. And there will undoubtedly be people out there who feel comforted by having that paper copy, for sure. Do you know what I mean? So it's not an absolute no-brainer, but it's about looking at your own behaviors that sit around that. Because and I think going through your manuals, you can really make a difference, Ingrid.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, one manual is not the other. Like, I would not keep the manual to my kettle. I know how my kettle boils my water, but I will keep the manual for my washing machine, because it has instructions about settings, if you get a setting, or if you want to wash on certain levels and things like that. So that I would keep. So for me, also, one manual is not the same as the other one. So before you kind of go, oh, it's just a manual, it goes into the drawer, have a look at it and see if you A, can declutter it, or B, let it go completely. I love this one. I think it's a very good one. Very good.
Very practical, isn't it, Ingrid?
I know.
Ingrid loves a practical one. She doesn't love candles, because who wants a candle? Who wants nice things like that in your house? We need a manual so we can fix things, because I'm practical.
I know you know me inside out, Leslie. I love it. Right, next one.
You bet you've never done this either, have you?
This is restaurant sauce packets and salts and peppers and napkins. I think napkins go into the same category as well. when you order something or you go to a restaurant, I mean, I remember it from the days when I lived in America. When you go to a restaurant, you get all these takeaway containers because they give you so much food, you can't eat it all. So you have to put it in a takeaway container. And then they chuck in this paper bag, all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what you just put in there, but I don't need 25 peppers and 5 salts and 3 sauces and all of that stuff. But they do it.
Yeah,
I find it very wasteful, actually. Ooh.
It is very wasteful. There's our barrier. It's wasteful. So we then want to not be wasteful. So we get these things. It's mostly a fast food place, right?
Yeah.
That Ingrid has never been to, apart from once to McDonald's because she likes a Big Mac. And so you get, but these things just get thrown in. And depending on who's serving you, they throw more and more in. Like some people are a little bit more cautious about what they're sending. They should absolutely be. And you should just get 1 straw, 1 salt, 1 pepper, whatever. But I would never sprinkle pepper ever on a fast food dinner. Do you know what I mean? Like, who would do that? Like, I just don't know whether that's like a thing. Do you know what I mean? But we get, and like barbecue sauces and stuff like that you get at McDonald's, we kind of think, oh, that might be quite nice. I might be able to quite kind of use that, or mayonnaises, or all of those things. And then, so we find them with clients in fridges and loads of them there. And if you are intentional about that and you can bring that into your cooking routines and everything, that's absolutely no problem at all. But you need to evaluate your own behavior and look, if those sauce packets are still sitting there 6 months down the line, then you're not going to really want to open them and use them because you're going to feel a little bit icky about them because they've kind of been there a while.
Yeah.
So you can use them, and we're not saying don't, because, you know, it stops the waste. And some people are like, I take them, I use them and all that. But think about it.
Yeah,
I think.
And I think if you now realize by listening to us, actually, oh yeah, I've got a fridge. You know what? Talking about this pepper has made my nose all sniffly. I feel like I'm about to sneeze talking about pepper. I'm like itchy nose. Anyway, but if you're thinking to yourself, I actually have got a lot of these packages in my fridge, and I have the best intentions of using them, but I do not. Maybe then the point is, okay, I need to stop this at the source. I need to not grab those extra sauces when I collect my takeaway or when they drop it off and say, do you want extra this or that? And go, no, thank you, I'm good. So I think once you realize that, it's stopping it at the source to help you, your future self, by not having to keep on decluttering these items.
Let me ask you a question. It's a little bit off topic. Are you allowing me to go off topic? Well, it's not. It's kind of on topic, but it's a bit of a diversion. Right. So we went to a nice restaurant a few weeks ago, like a real kind of fancy restaurant. It was something up in Manchester called Sexy Fish. There's one in London. There's one in Miami. So it's all fancy, schmancy, Japanese stuff. It was gorgeous, right? And so they had so it's all Japanese. So there was chopsticks and stuff. And so they had, you know, those little chopstick thing where you put your chopsticks on, like not a holder, like a stand, like what do they call them? You know what I mean? Like a little thing that props up your chopsticks. And they were in the shape of a fish, right? And they were so cute, right? Oh my, they'd be so lovely. Turn them over, and it says on the bottom of the thing, which are made out of like proper metal, not cheap things, like a nice what do you call it? Like, you know, like a metal thing, like a heavy metal thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the material would be. And it says on the bottom, stolen from Sexy Fish, right? So they've done that within the branding of the restaurant because they know that people are going to nick them. Like people take, you know, napkins and all that from sort of branded restaurants like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that that's free reign then to take that home with you?
Oh, absolutely not. I would never. I know.
But if it says stolen from Sexy Fish, so for me, that is part of the thing where they're saying.
Yeah, but why would you want to have a chopstick holder thingy in your house? Unless you're like a sushi person and you eat it all the time. That would be just clutter in my house. I would declutter that immediately. I mean, I worked in hotels, Leslie. People, honestly, over the years, back in the day when I worked in hotels, I think that people just think if it's loose, you can take it with you. People took duvets, pillows, TV. I mean, everything. It's like, it's loose, you can take it. And I'm like, you know, this is crazy. You know, yes, if you've used the shampoo you can take that home, but not like Bibles and phones.
I agree. So the point I'm trying to make, you're missing my point.
Yeah, I think so.
My point is, if they were effectively giving you free reign by saying that on the bottom of a thing, stolen from Sexy Fish, would you think that that was a kind of permission to take it home as a souvenir?
I would think it's funny, but I would still leave it in the restaurant. I would not take it. But yes, I think when it says like that, I think they may have made a gimmick about it because they probably know that people are like, oh, that's so funny. And it's can easily go into a purse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I just thought it was really interesting.
I think it's a market. I think it's an excellent marketing ploy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but do you want to know whether I took it or not?
Actually, yes.
No,
I think I know the answer, but
why? What would you say was the answer? I've already given you the answer now. But why? What would you say? Yes or no?
I would say no. You wouldn't have taken it.
No, I didn't take it.
No.
Because like you say, I'm like, I don't need chopsticks. I don't need that. It's just going to be clutter. But I just thought it was really interesting, and in the context of the kind of hotel, people nicking stuff all the time. But, the restaurant sauce packets that we were talking about before I went off piste slightly, they give you those things.
Yeah.
But you can take them yourself as well sometimes.
Yeah.
You can, so people can take salts, you can take napkins, you can take straws and all that kind of stuff if you want to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to number 8 then. This is an interesting one. This is ties. Ties.
Go on then. What are you going to say about it? You're just going to. When she says this is an interesting one, she goes, "I've got not anything to say about it." Why is it on the list?
I think I was dithering about it because I think it's changed a lot over the years. I think in the past, mainly men would wear many, many more ties. I think a lot of the companies have loosened their dress code. I mean, of course, there's still whole industries that are tie, suit, shirt heavy. But I mean, I've seen it even with my own husband. When he started out in the hotel business, it was suit and tie and booted and suited and the whole thing. And it has become a little bit more relaxed over the years. So he will now very regularly go to work without a tie. I think he hardly wears any ties.
Yeah, and he likes to dress up.
Yeah.
Jon likes to properly, like, I've never seen him like in a pair of jeans or whatever. He likes a shirt and jacket, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of but he doesn't wear a tie to work.
No, not anymore. But some of the ties, because of course Max then went into sixth form, he suddenly had to have suits and a tie in sixth form. And I'm like, well, before we go all out, just have a look at your dad's ties, because there's like a whole thing of them. Because Jan is not good about letting them go either.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. Is, whether or not we need ties now is a different thing to me. To like, if you're wearing a tie wearing thing, people just keep hold of them and never, ever declutter them, right? It's a bit like belts as well. Similar thing, kind of keep hold of them. So I think ties should be fair game to look through, and you don't just keep them like forever, because there is fashion, like they go thinner and they go fatter and they go longer and, all that kind of stuff. And so, and the material and the patterns and everything really change. And so I think ties, old ties that you've not worn for a while, to me are no brainers, and you don't just keep hold of them for like till the end of time. Yeah. Which is what I've seen. I see it with Steve. I've seen it with loads of clients. And then when you go through them, you're getting rid of 75% of them. Yeah. I don't think Jan's ready to do that. But he doesn't have a lot of clothes to start off with. So I actually have to price like a shirt or a thing. I'm like, honey, let it go. Let it go. So I haven't really dared to go into the tie universe yet, because that's, I think, a step too far. So you're gonna say that you've got that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
and I've got it,
yes.
Even though it's not me, it's Steve. But
yeah. Okay, well, let's go to number 9. Old pillows. Please, just let them go. The problem is they're difficult to get rid of. That's the problem, I think, why they hang about in homes. But, old pillows are just a bit grimy.
Minging.
Yeah.
Literally minging.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully, now we can wash pillows. I've just done a pillow wash, and it is an ordeal. Yeah. Isn't it? It is an ordeal to wash a pillow and get it dry. Yeah. It's not easy.
No.
So, but I've just managed to get mine done. It's like a 3-day. I mean, I shouldn't have, but I've got duck down pillows. And but it takes 3 days for them to dry. I put them through the dryer. I've sat them on a radiator. It's like a big deal, right? But old pillows. Once you've made a decision, so I would even go so far as to say it's something that we would really highly recommend that you buy new if you've not got washable pillows. So there's an earlier stage which is where like the old ones are minging, but definitely look at them before they get too horrible. Sleeping on those and sweating all night, and they need to be changed with regularity or washed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got some new pillows as well because Max was like, I still have got my pillow from ages ago, and got him some new ones, and it makes a massive difference, I think.
It does, absolutely.
For your sleep as well. But when you get some new pillows, just declutter the old ones. Don't just put them somewhere in a cupboard where they smell and yeah.
I think we made that very clear. Yeah. We made that clear.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to the last one then. And then we can do a bit of a tally again. Coupons with expiry dates on them, or coupons from stores you don't even shop at. That happens as well. You do, here I think when you go to Sainsbury's, Leslie, or even I think Boots, these things come out of the cash machine and give you a coupon to get more money off or a discount next time, and then they've got an expiry date. We find them all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to be on top of your coupons, basically, don't you? You really need to have, if you're a coupon person, and honestly, I don't know about loads of other countries around the world, but in the States, the coupons are like big business, right?
Yeah.
They are a bit more here, to be fair, now. But if you went to a supermarket shop and you didn't have a coupon, it would be more the exception than the norm, right?
Yeah.
I've got that right. Whatever way around, you'd always shop with a coupon.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way that it goes. And, I think it's becoming a little bit more like that now. It's the same with maybe it's gone off coupons and it's gone onto reward cards and stuff like that. Like Tesco's completely changed the way that it does things now. And, all your discounts are sitting on a club card, with Tesco's is a supermarket here in the UK. A lot of people use. And so but if you are a coupon person, you've really got to be on top of these coupons. You've got to have a strategy. You've got to know what you've got. You've got to have them with you at the right time. Don't you? I think you can actually put coupons onto some coupons onto what do you call, like Apple wallets and stuff, can't you? Or is that gift cards? Have I got that wrong?
That's gift cards, I would say.
Cards, right?
Yeah.
So you do need to have a real strategy, because the amount of times that I've gone, and I have them with me. I don't actually go shopping that often, but when I do it, I go and I've got my coupons, and then I'm like, oh, they're expired. Do you know what I mean? That's a shame, but that's fine, because I didn't need to use them because I didn't buy anything. So that's, there's 100% saving if you don't buy something, right? So that's a good thing as well. But yeah, have a coupon strategy on top of everything else. You need to have a process for couponing, don't you?
Yeah.
You ever seen those, like, there's those shows like Extreme Couponing? Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Like, they'll go and buy $300 worth of like stuff and then get it for like $15.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
I know it's impressive, but I'm like, I can only kind of do that if it's really stuff you need.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, right? Because when you get a coupon, you think, oh, I have to go to that shop and use it, even if you cannot think of anything that you want to have. And I think that's the trap with the coupon. They lure you in with the discount or the money off. But if you don't need it in the first place, like if you don't buy it, you get 100% discount. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of the which are completely fascinating programs. I don't watch it all the time, to be fair. I've got better things to do in my life than watch Extreme Couponing. But I have caught it a couple of times. But it's mostly food. And so if you're like, I'm happy to eat anything at a good price.
Yep.
Or I need to, only spend $30 a week on feeding my family or whatever that is, then go for it, because you can get all of that food, that's going to feed your family for X number of weeks and stuff. But but with other stuff, with clothing and stuff, it's more intentional, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So Leslie, come clean. How many in this second part? I mean, you had none in the first. I had one, which I think earrings without a back or a pair. I can't even think, but I think probably one. How are you doing in the second lot?
I've definitely got manuals that I don't need.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Steve's got ties.
Yeah, me too, Jan. Yeah.
I actually went through my coupons yesterday and got rid of them quite by chance. So I do not have coupons. I definitely don't have old pillows, and I don't have any restaurant sauce packets. So I'm going to say yes to manuals. But to be fair, they are intentional manuals. So maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to say yes. So the ones that I've got are. But do I think there's maybe one that's snuck in there? Probably. So I'm going to take manuals, and I'm going to take ties. I'm going to take 2.
Yeah, me too. Same. No restaurant packets here to be seen. No old pillows. And no coupons. So I've lost. I've got earrings without a back or a pair.
I won.
Yeah, you won.
So good list. And I think there was, yes, our list of 10 things that can be a little bit random, but hopefully there's some learning in all of them, about coupons and about barriers and about all these things. So you might think we come up with a random list, but we try and educate you around that with some of the tips and tricks that you need to declutter your home successfully.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got like 6 of these, tell us in the YouTube comments. We would love to know which of these no-brainers have you got, and maybe you're now considering letting go. So that is it for us done today, Leslie. I enjoyed it.
Yes. So we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you soon.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.